Since women are the bearers of children, the female species has evolved to be highly selective in choosing mates. Now, this seemed like a very natural thing that everybody accepted until the sexual revolution and hookup culture. Again, I highly recommend you read this book to see why it has failed women and women do not thrive in hookup culture. Those of you who see women hooking up, you are looking at either you may be looking at women who are exploring their sexuality, which you will see among college-age women, or women exploring their sexuality, especially after they just got out of a long relationship. And those were the two times in my life that I experimented sexually. If you see women hooking up as a way of life, other than those two examples, you're looking at wounded, traumatized women, and I'm going to ask, where are you meeting these women and what kind of trauma do they have? They will be outliers. It is in the nature of women to be highly selective in who we're having sex with. And some of these women who went around hooking up thinking that men are like women, that they will form relationships after sex, are realizing that it's not how it is. So nonetheless, women have always been more selective in every species. And I'm going to read to you something I saw in one of the YouTube comments in one of the videos I watched on a woman telling women to be selective. This guy says, I was watching on Animal Planet how male birds basically have to serenade the female bird. They have to dance, fluff up to look bigger and stronger, build a home for her, probably a nest. The odd part is, the cold part is, she still may not choose him after all of that. The takeaway is, let him work for it. Like the woman in the video said, this is the natural flow of things. Men have to work for sexual access to women. That is the natural order of things. When you see women that are throwing their sexuality around, you are looking at wounded, toxic women, and they're not an example that I'm even going to discuss here on this video, because I can't address toxicity and wounded people. I'm speaking of the 90% of women who are actually healthy and normal, okay? Let's look at another example here, another one on the comments. Someone said, the same with fish. There's this famous YouTube video about a fish that draws artwork in the sand in order to impress the female. You should really see it. It really impacted me, and every time I feel like I will slip up, I remind myself, that male fish put all that work in. Human males have to put a lot of work in as well. You ladies are not asking for too much. Okay? All right, so I've established the natural order of things is that a man has to work for the sexual attention of a woman. But what is he working for? What is he going to get? This is another thing that often comes up where a lot of us are really lost. Like, you know, if men are like women and women are like men, a lot of women are saying, what can a man do for me? And men are saying, what can a woman do for me? Like, what am I putting all this effort in for? So there's an invitation on this video for the men to talk about, what is it that you want from us women? We're making you work for it, but what are we offering you? What are you working for? You see us as beauty objects. I know I'm not very beautiful right now. I should probably put on some lipstick or some better earrings, you know, or something. But you guys see us as beauty objects, and you see us as you're sexually attracted to us. But you guys are not going to be having sex 24 hours a day. And and of course our personality matters too, right? Because a good woman can add to your life. She can be a muse that inspires you, that appreciates you, that pushes you to take care of yourself, that collaborates with you on your ideas, that's interested in you. that builds a partnership that helps you save for your future, build your business, that mothers your children. And women, we have a natural knack for keeping a home and inviting people over and taking care of the Christmas gifts and the family and the cooking and the grocery shopping, which is very nourishing, and to appreciate a man and to be buttery submissive to him in bed and to make ourselves pretty for him. Um, I like all of that stuff. But let me share what one of the subscribers shared in a comment, what he wants for a woman. He would like to be the main financial provider to free her up from any work she doesn't want to do. But I would encourage her to find some type of creative or career outlet she finds fulfilling. She would be my primary co-explorer of deeper sexual and spiritual realms. Domestic and cooking skills highly in demand. Her admiration and appreciation would further encourage me to push myself in all areas. I love this. I am so warmed by this. It's very vulnerable, it's very authentic, and it's very inviting and inspirational. He also says that he would like a younger version of me. So, of course, I was already very interested in the comment. Because he sees me as a very motherly, nourishing woman, also in touch with my sexuality. So someone like that. And he also would like someone who is open to special arrangements like threesomes or side action. So I would appreciate if more of men would let us know what you're looking for in a woman. I think it's good for men to see from each other and share like this. And also for us women to see what you like, like this gentleman saying domestic and cooking skills. Yes, we as women need to know that that's something we have to offer. We can't be like, well, I don't do no chores, I don't do no cooking. That's not attractive. If that's what men want and we want them to work for us, we have to bring something to the table too, So let's see, what is this video going to be called? I talked about men have to work for women and what are they working for? And should I add this stuff into this is going to be part of men working for women, because it's not just enough to, build the house and bring the money. People nowadays are looking for more out of their relationships than survival. Because men can get sex from escorts or porn, and women can make their own money. So what brings us together for a relationship? We have to have, healthy people want to have a healthy partner, but there are a lot of unhealthy people. Let me get into that first. There are so many toxic, bad women who abuse men and toxic men who abuse women. And they get into relationships all the time. So I'm not going to tell you can't be toxic and get a relationship, but you won't have a happy relationship. Because what happens is there's a large percentage of the population who is not securely attached and who doesn't have good boundaries and healthy self-esteem. So I don't know what percentage it is, but I think it's a lot of people. Let's say it's between 10 and 40%. So within that group, I'm just making up the number. So within that group, we have, within this 10 to 40% of wounded people who don't have a healthy sense of self. There will be some who, maybe half of these people will be abusive, and the other half will enjoy being abused. Now, people are not conscious of this. It's just how they go through life. But the people who enjoy being abused are the ones I think that tend to wake up more. But when I say enjoy being abused, they are people pleasers, they're doormats, they get into relationships where they're abused by someone who's controlling, critical, invalidating, hostile, has explosive outbursts, is violent. This person could have borderline personality disorder or could be a narcissist. And I think these people tend to have more like depression and anxiety, and they're kind of going like, how can I please you? And they're trying to constantly placate this person. If I just please this person enough, if I just can calm this person down, if I can just do the right thing and walk on eggshells just right, this person won't explode on me, this person will love me, this person. And so it's a very unhealthy situation. So I'm not going to say that you have to love yourself and be healthy to get into a relationship. You don't. The world is full of unhealthy people who are in relationship, and the world is full of women who are drawn to toxic men and men who are drawn to toxic women. Just look at Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Now, he didn't put up with her abuse for more than a couple years, and I know of someone else who just divorced his wife who has borderline personality because after 3 years he had enough. I also recently talked to someone who knows a woman and a man where the woman is constantly telling the guy, you're not good enough. You got to get work done on your hair, on your body, on your teeth. And the guy is just like, oh my God, I thought that I looked fine, but yes, I'll do it for you. And we're just wondering how many years will go by that she's going to keep telling him, his dick isn't right, his teeth aren't right, his nose isn't right. She wants him a nose surgery. She wants him to make more money. She wants him to pay more for more things. And this guy, instead of saying, fuck you, bitch, I'm the fuck out of here, fuck you, abusive bitch, he's just like, oh my God, I'm going to do whatever you want so you can love me, because he's wounded. Okay, so there are a lot of women I didn't even know that women were abusive because I come from a family of loving, nourishing women until I saw the Amber Heard trial. And that woke me way up. It just was like, I watched so much of the trial because I was just so shocked by it all. But there are also abusive men, and the abusive men, since they're physically stronger, can do more physical damage, but the women will do a lot of emotional damage. But let's assume that here on this channel, we're all about healthy relationships, self-empowerment, and I personally look for people who are healthy. So again, I'm going to not speak to the women who are toxic because they're going around fucking anything that walks. They're impulsive with their sexuality. They're abusive, condescending, critical. And men, I am now going to speak about healthy relationships. So we've got like a man who's like putting in the effort to get the woman, and what's he getting? Like I said, a woman who's nourishing and appreciates him and brings out the best in him, is kind of a muse that inspires him to do his best. They always say that men build all these buildings and bridges and artwork to impress women. There was always a woman who inspired him to build something or create something or make a business or build a bridge or conquer new lands. There was often a woman behind it that he wanted to impress. But what kind of man what's a healthy man like? And this is a comment on a video I made about men stop being a victim, and I was specifically speaking to some of the guys that are more from the incel community that hate women. And when you go around hating women, you're not going to get women. Like the fuckboys don't hate women. They like women, and they're con artists and charmers. And only wounded women will fall for that, to be honest. Healthy women don't fall for that because they're not interested in just a hookup. They require a man to put in some effort. Now, let me read this comment. The problem, let's see. Let me read this comment. Okay. The problem is a lot of men who harbor this kind of anger and resentment are beyond the reach of professional therapy or the ability of a therapist to help them. If a therapist can help them, then you, Mr. or Miss Average Everyday Common Person, most certainly would not be able to help them. Full stop. Men like this need to do a whole lot more than to just grow up. They need to go very, very deep, do the very deep level inner work to unlearn how they were raised as men, unlearn the very deeply embedded habits and behavior patterns they learned along the way, and then learn entirely new kinds of people relating skills to become better human beings and men. This is a lifelong process with no shortcuts whatsoever. This is a very long, slow, messy, painful, chaotic journey with false starts, false leads, setbacks, and outright failures along the way. You cannot innovate, entrepreneur, market, or bargain your way through any of this. And they need to commit themselves to a life of atonement, make amends and reparations to people they've hurt along the way. The problem is a lot of men send out subconscious signals, body language, and vibes, yes, that hint that they may eventually become a problem for a woman somewhere down the road, even a grave threat to her safety. Men send out signals like this whether they know it or not, no matter how hard they try to hide it. It's very deeply etched into their beings. Yes, we as women pick up on this so easily. That's why it's so critical for men to go way, way deep, over 100 times deeper than they ever have before in their lives, and commit themselves to do the lifelong, deep level inner work to deprogram their minds and then reprogram their minds. So deprogram and reprogram to become better men. This is the only way for a man to remove the deeply ingrained subconscious anger and resentment that they have towards women. This will require a lot of self-discipline, where a man will need to do the unlearning and relearning day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, decade after decade. I will say that if you work with a good therapist who does hypnotherapy and somatic work, you can really heal all this stuff, I think, very quickly in a matter of weeks or months. So if you have resentments towards the opposite sex, a good therapist would be a really good place to start. Or Gabor Mate has a lot of videos on YouTube. He is a really good person to listen to. I mean, just his voice is so calming. And he might even say, what's that part of you that cares, how you feel about women? What's that part of you that feels unloved by women? What's that part of you that desires women? What's that part of you? I don't know. He just has a way of asking questions that really make people snap out into a healthier way of thinking. But, when we say that men have to work for the attention of women, how I feel as a woman is I have to be worthy of the attention of that kind of man. Okay? It's not that I take it for granted at all. I have to be worthy of that type of man wanting me. So guys, what women have to bring to the table is what I think is that we have to be attractive, for sure. To get a man's attention, we have to be attractive. The way that I choose to be attractive is I focus on having a natural beauty and an inner glow. And thank you to my friend that I just, whose comment I just read, Scott Bridge. And he's always the one telling me I'm glowing. I love it. I love that. It's the best compliment ever. It's better than telling me I have a nice ass, because I feel like that's something I have to cultivate. That's a lot more uh, inner oriented. So I go for natural beauty. Like I go for my shiny hair um, and you know, being fit and being healthy and dressing like in a modest, stylish way. Like I'm wearing a cashmere sweater, you know, my cashmere sweater. Anyway, and my pearl earrings and short nails. Like this is all by design, how I feel beautiful. Earlier today, I wore some crotchless fishnet stockings and a dress because I had an appointment earlier. Um, so I made a video for that. You saw that on my YouTube channel. So I can dress sexy too, but in public, I'd like to dress very modestly. So so a woman should be attractive. She should be kind, and she should be intelligent. Okay. So with kindness, that means that I regulate my emotions. I'm not going to be volatile. I'm not going to be critical. I'm not going to lash out at you when there's a disagreement. I'm not going to bring up last week's stuff. I'm going to show you appreciation. I'm going to be loving and nurturing and affectionate. And I'm going to appreciate you. If I can't do that, then I won't be with you. Okay, so that's the kindness part. And I'm going to be a good mother. I'm going to be committed to my children. And I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to manage our money carefully. And I'm going to focus on our relationship. That relationship is important to me. And I'm going to honor that relationship with my monogamy and my word and my trust. You can count on me. That's the kindness part. The intelligent part is my dad always said, I don't want to come home to a wife who just talks about what detergent she used that day. So for the intelligent part, it means that a woman is well-read, that she has something interesting to talk about. She's interested, she has her own interests, whether it's in science or art or exercise or cooking. You know, she likes to read, she likes to learn, she loves learning an instrument, learning about parenting, learning about sexuality, learning about the economy or personal development. So those are the three things I think are super important. Those are just the three that I always think about. I probably have other qualities I bring to the table, you know, like my desire for freedom and my desire to be self-expressed. But that all goes to like the kindness. My meditation practice is to nurture my kindness. My exercise is to nurture my health. So what I think a woman brings to the table, if a woman is doing all these things, I think that she's just attractive and fun and enjoyable to be around, you know. And there's something to be said around just being around someone who's happy, you know. And I think that people enjoy my company because I'm interesting, I'm attractive, I'm happy, I'm nice to men. Unless they're like trying to get things from me, then I'm not. Then I'm like, you know, you're invading my personal space here. That's what I think a woman has to offer a man. And those are the things that I do to cultivate. I'm friendly when I go out. I speak to people. I smile at men. So I feel like I'm doing all the things to be attractive to that kind of a man. So when a man has to work for a woman, I feel like if a man sees me and he's like, oh my God, she's the kind of woman I would want to get to know, I want him to go after me and talk to me. I want him to work for me by showing his interest. That's all, you know. He doesn't have to like overcome a bunch of objections. I'm very receptive. You know, work for me is like, okay, you've done all these things and now you're going to tell me you're interested. And like, yeah, let's get a coffee. Let's go for dinner. Let's go have a drink. I'd like to get to know you. I think that a woman has to be sexually in tune with herself so that she can have like a very satisfying relationship. To me, that's very important. And be willing to go to therapy if there's something wrong in the relationship, instead of like, this is just how I am, too bad. So that's what I think a woman brings to the table. Now, some women are more better at cooking. I happen to be better at sex than at cooking, but I can cook. Um, I happen to be better at working out than at cooking, but we all have our different strengths, you know. And a lot of men love to cook, and I like to clean. So I'd be great with a guy who loves to cook. I would so love his cooking. I'd suck his dick every day for like, oh my God, you cook the best food, and I'd clean up the kitchen, you know, like that. But anyway, just on a serious note, that yes, men work for women, but men don't want to work for women if they see that there's nothing attractive. And so when I hear men say, whenever I hear a man say, what can a woman do for me? To me, it signals that he's not seeing any women that inspire him. He's not seeing any women that he wants. Because, you know, I think that a man who wants a relationship and is interested in a woman my age, I think he would look at me and go, oh, I would love to get to know her. She's pretty, she's interesting, she's kind. Let me go talk to her. That's how I think it would work. Nobody ever comes and talks to me because guys think that they're toxic, or I don't know. I really don't know why they don't talk to me. But I think that a woman should inspire a man through her body movements and how she looks and how she moves and how she's dressed. Inspires him to be like, oh my God, I have to talk to this woman. Something in her energy, they're going to be attracted to my energy. And I think that when a man sees a woman like that he's attracted to energetically, he's going to want to talk to her. When men say, what can a woman do for me? It just makes me feel like, what is going on with today's women that they're not inspiring men to want them? So I guess my questions on this video would be, again, men, please share what you want in women. And when you say, what can women do for me? What is it that you're seeing in women that has you go, I'm just not feeling it. I'm just like, why would I want to deal with this? Is it because they are too much on their phones? Are you hanging out at nightclubs with a bunch of alcoholic hookup kind of women? Are you, do you live in an area where women are all skanky? Uh, uh, I mean, I don't know. Like, do you just see women on dating apps or TikTok that make you say that? Or you see them in real life? Like, what is going on, you guys of all ages who are single and looking for women? Like, what is going on that has you go, what can a woman do for me? And what is it that you want a woman to do for you? And I would love for you guys to share so that we as ladies can know. I think I know what men want. I just shared what I think men want and what I do for men. But I don't, but I would like to hear from other men what you want from a woman. Yeah, this is your space to share. And thank you for watching my video.